Good morning, guys. Yeah, we're joined by Governor Northam, Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax, and Attorney General Mark Herring. They're all here on the stage with us this morning. As you mentioned, obviously champions for gun control. Thank you guys for joining us. First of all, what do you make of all these young people out here this morning? Well,
you know, we've just had too many horrific tragedies, and young people are standing up and making their voices heard, and we're so proud of them. And you know, we've been fighting for responsible gun ownership in Virginia, and we haven't been able to get it done, but you know, I don't think these people are going away, and so we're glad to be here today in Washington with my Attorney General Mark Herring, Justin Fairfax, Lieutenant Governor, and here really to have a voice for the people that maybe don't have a voice, and to promote responsible gun ownership.
And what do you make of this, Lieutenant Governor?
Yeah, well, we're honored to be here. It's an incredible gathering, and I'm so proud of our Governor, Ralph Northam, our Attorney General Mark Herring. They've done incredible work, and people have stood up and said that never again will we allow people to come and have this kind of mass casualty happen in our schools and in our society. These kids have called BS, and we're calling it too, and we are all proud to have F ratings from the NRA because we want change in this country. They do, and we're going to bring it to the Commonwealth of Virginia and to America.
And Attorney General, talk about some of the gun laws that you all have had in place. Obviously, Virginia is no stranger to tragedies like this with Virginia Tech and other shootings. So what have you all done? What needs to be done?
Well, I'm really glad to be here to support the Parkland High School students. It's been so inspiring to see what they're doing, speaking with such clarity and authenticity. And there is so much more we can do. You know, we're raising a generation of young people who are going to school every day thinking that they could be killed in a classroom, at a movie theater, at a concert, or even in church, and it doesn't have to be that way. It shouldn't be that way. You know, there are things we can do like universal background checks, either banning or making assault weapons, these weapons of war, much more difficult to get. There's so many more things that we can do. We've tried to get bills introduced, and unfortunately lawmakers in Richmond and in Washington seem more interested in doing what the gun lobby wants than what their constituents need and demand.
Obviously, a lot of people out here today, but when today is over, how do you keep the momentum going?
Well, we keep the momentum going by just getting out and helping to educate folks and encouraging people to go vote on Election Day. These elections have tremendous consequences, and I think you're going to see a lot of these seats change in 2018 and 2019 if people don't listen to what the people want.
What do you think about how do you keep the momentum going after today?
Yeah, we've got to keep raising our voices, keep standing up, stand with all the students, the families, the people who have been impacted by this, which is really all of us, and we need people to stay engaged, to vote. We had a sea change in Virginia in 2017, and as Governor Northam said all around Virginia, if we can't change people's minds, we need to change their seats, and that's what's going to happen in 2019 and 2018.
What do you say to young people who, you know, are afraid to be in classrooms and afraid to go in schools? What do you say to them who they feel like they don't have time to wait for laws to change? What do you say to them? What do you say to their parents?
Well, we've really been leaders in Virginia with threat assessments. We've been going into our schools and doing everything that we can to harden our schools to make them safer. And you know, they've talked about, you know, resource officers, and we want to make sure that we have resource officers in our schools. I'm not a proponent of arming our teachers. That's certainly been something that's discussed. Our teachers are there to educate, but we do want to do everything that we can to make our schools safe so that our children can go to school, they can learn, and they can come home to their families at night. That's what's so important.
And how do you work on making those schools safer too? Again, you said not arming teachers, but what else do you have to do?
Well, first of all, I had a chance to talk to some of the students from Parkland High School earlier today. They are determined to make sure that their voice is heard and to speak, and I really believe that, you know, this next generation is going to be the one to do it. After what we've seen in so many different places in Virginia Tech, in Connecticut, you know, so many places, I think this might actually be the time that we can get the change we need. And they're determined. They're not going away, and neither are we. We're going to make sure our voices are heard and we get these things changed.
And I just wanted to say I'm so inspired by these students. We all are. So grateful to them. And they have recognized that this is something that's not a new phenomenon. This has happened now for many years, for decades. We have gun violence in our cities and counties and rural areas every single day. 33,000 people are killed every year. And never again. We're going to stand up with one voice and be united and make sure that we make change in this country. And it happens today and it continues forever.
And you said you're inspired. I mean, talk about the fact that this has been organized not by adults, but by 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, essentially.
You know, for so long we hear people say our thoughts and prayers are these families, and these students are standing up and saying, you know what, that's very kind of folks, but now it's time to take action. And like I said earlier, they're not going away. This is our future. This is about their future. So they're very determined. And, you know, we met with the students, some of them that were wounded down in Florida, and they have a powerful story to tell. And I just hope that our lawmakers listen to these stories and don't let these things happen anymore.
And in my faith tradition, they say, and a child shall lead them. And I think the children are standing up and they're making their voices heard. They're leading this country to a brighter future, and we are with them 100%.
We are standing with the students.
Important message. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us.
So much.
Again, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax, and Attorney General Mark Herring, all joining us among a lot of other lawmakers here and politicians today. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you guys. All right.